I didn't take it. You didn't take it. I'm a highly accomplished doctor. It was never safe to take. Never safe to take. I published an op-ed in The Hill in August of 2020, the great gamble of doing this. It's the only public figure in the world who called out a concern before they came forward. Only one in the world. You're talking to them right now. So those who have taken it, there's great concern. I've published with Nicholas Holscher, who's a fellow at McCullough Foundation. It's one of 70 or so papers that we have on this. It's called McCullough Protocol-Based Spike Detoxification, and we have a risk stratification approach. We start with patients. The first thing we do is we characterize how many times they've had the infection, how many different doses they had in the arm, and when did they take them. The more dangerous ones were given in 2021. I want people to know that. They did become safer in 2022 and 2023. The dangerous ones were in 2021. But we characterize all that, and then we measure a blood test. We measure the antibodies against the spike protein. The products make the spike protein in the body, probably for a potentially unlimited time period and an unlimited quantity. This is the great concern. Once they're injected into the body, there appears to be no way to shut them off, and we're greatly concerned about this. The protocol involves the combined use of 3 natural products that can be used over the counter that we have found in preclinical studies and the available randomized trials is the best application to get this spike protein out of the body. And they are nattokinase, derived from the fermentation of soy, bromelain, derived from pineapples and pineapple stems, and curcumin, derived from turmeric. In combination, other things can be added, but it's McCullough Protocol-based spike detoxification. The doses are natto, 2,000 units twice a day, bromelain, 500 milligrams a day, curcumin, 500 twice a day, and we can double or quadruple these. And so we are widely using this. I've used it now for 2 years. I've watched people steadily improve. The best available vignettes give us guidance. I've held conference calls worldwide. What are other doctors seeing? And you know what? I copyrighted it so people could locate it. They were trying to figure out, what are you talking about? McCullough Protocol, so they know. So it's copyrighted my name. But it's the ultimate accountability as well. Because if this doesn't work, believe me, I would hear about this. People would be all over me on social media, and yet what I get is a constant flood of thank yous. I'm finally better. I'm finally turning the corner. It can take a year or more of doing this. But all the symptoms, the ear ringing, the numbness and tingling, the heart pounding up and down, this vague chest pain, we see blood clots resolving. Now, we use blood thinners on top of this, but we see it resolving. We do add prescription drugs, colchicine for the myocarditis and pleuropericardial symptoms. We actually use a nicotine patch to try to block the spike protein for the neurologic features. Ivermectin for some of the cutaneous and craniofacial syndromes, hyperbaric oxygen. We use multiple things in combination, but we are getting people better after the vaccine and taking that risk away that was conferred to them when they took the shot.
So we're wrapping up now. We don't have a ton of time. We will put a link for all of that information. And by the way, guys, he's given this away generously to help people. So we'll put the link for that information in the description of this episode. But if you could, in 60 seconds or so, you're clearly a man of faith. I admire your spiritual connection, your way to look at what's happening here spiritually. And for me, when I see what's happening, as a follower of Jesus myself and as a pastor, I think one of the things that Jesus teaches us when he was dying on the cross was, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. And in the midst of this, I look at what's happening, and frankly, I don't know what else to call it besides evil, if not just completely incompetent. But it seems too coordinated just to be incompetent. I look at what's happening in the world, and to me, it's clearer than ever before that there is a spiritual battle between good and evil happening. This is not a battle of preferences or political parties. It's two spiritual forces at war with each other. But I'm encouraged that the force for good is going to win. That if you're on God's side, you're on the winning team. And if there's any, spiritual encouragement that you could give our audience, I'd really appreciate it.
Light over darkness. That's always the way. It's always a small number with eyes to see and ears to hear. It's always a ministry of having others take the scales off their eyes. It's always the case. It is biblical. There's no doubt about it. What we are seeing is biblical. We are in an epic fight of good and evil. And, I've traveled all over the world, and I've talked to Hindus and Muslims. They believe they're seeing a battle of good and evil in their context of their faith. And the same thing with Confucianists and those Jewish others. They see this. People are really wondering, what are we watching? Mm-hmm. Are we watching a form of a plague? Are we watching the end of time? Are we cast as characters? I encourage everyone to ask themselves, what is their role right now in this time of great controversy? Because I do think all of us have been cast a role, and we are being looked upon to do our part to compassionately help others through this difficult time.